welcome his son, nephew, young man. Let me holler at you. All right, so yesterday, or was it the day before? I can't remember. Anyhow, I'm continuing my thoughts on being a stepfather. In the last video, the first two possible pros, we came up with, and remember, everybody's life is so different, and there's no cookie cutter solution to any of this stuff. If it was, I suppose the marriage and divorce rates, rather the divorce rates, wouldn't be so high. I think with all of this stuff, that is something that you need to think about while I'm mentioning it. If you're going to do the whole stepfather thing, you got to remember the divorce rates are high. You can do your research to see who it is who's initiating the divorces and the most frequent causes. That's for you, because remember, I'm going to stay neutral. I'm not trying to get canceled. I'm not trying to be in debates with people or gender wars and all that kind of stuff. So you figure that out. But you understand, as a man, you got a lot to lose. And in a court, you're talking about civil matters, you're going to lose. All right, so the possible pros. Number one, I do suppose, as far as being on a moral plane, you'd be doing a service that is, a service to mankind, service to society, helping a young person out who otherwise may not have a present father. I would caution you, though, to find out why there's no father there. Now, I will say this. The Bible says to be a father to the fatherless. And I do think a woman who is married and who is a widow is in a way different situation than, say, a woman who got pregnant after a wild night at the club. Shout out to you if you're the child of such a situation where you find out in life that, hey, your parents didn't really want to have you. I feel for you and I empathize with you. That's why I'm not so quick to judge. However, we're talking about men and going into situations trying to have the best odds of success. The other possible pro could have been if maybe there's a certain female with a certain type of look that you're looking for, which honestly, in my opinion, that ain't the best measure of what a good woman is. But some men just got to have a woman that looks a certain way, just like some people, they can't drive a Toyota, they got to drive a Lexus. All right, whatever floats your boat. I would say look for purpose over pleasure once you get to a certain age, but you got to do what works for you. So maybe a woman who's a 9 or 10 who wouldn't fool with you back in high school or back in college, maybe now that she has a baby, and maybe, because she could have been looking for the wrong type of man for superficial reasons and got a good looking dude or a dude with a reputation, but now she ended up with a baby and realized, oh, instead of looking for fatherhood qualities, I looked for social qualities, and now I got a guy who's not a good father. Okay, so now you could have a very beautiful woman who would prefer to have a responsible man in her life now, and maybe you fit the bill, and maybe you want to step in and assume that responsibility. So you could, let's say you stack up all the pros. So in a perfect world, you're doing a good thing and you got a beautiful gal on your side. Okay, cool. Possible pros. Now let's talk about functionality. See, here's where, and I don't claim to be anybody's dating coach or anybody's expert. Hell, I've been married twice. As a matter of fact, I was married to 2 beautiful women, and you see, I ain't married no more. Just something to take into consideration. So, if you're really trying to be an effective and efficient man, then you do realize, especially if you're at that stage in life where you have to work a lot of hours, you could say you need a woman who will, who is willing to cook and clean and be a domestic engineer and help with those types of things. I will also say this. I believe it's good for children to be balanced. I think the best situation, personally, is for them to have both of their parents married and be living with both of their parents and their own biological siblings. But of course, we don't live in a perfect world. So, okay, what do? Maybe you're working and you're in school. Or maybe you're trying to start a business and you have to work really, really long hours. Maybe you've been dating a female who has wife tendencies and capabilities. And maybe what she does can help you. Maybe she has a talent that can help with your business or your profession or your endeavors, but she happens to have a child. You could ask yourself, okay, is having this woman in my life also, and having the child, does that situation work? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Your mileage may vary. That is up to you to decide. So I guess we could, again, hypothetically stack all the pros and say, all right, so now you got a really beautiful woman. You're doing a good thing as far as being an honorable man, and she is helping you in your mission in life. Because if you're a Bible believer, that's a woman's purpose. Now, I realize there's women out there who might say, I ain't cooking nothing, partner. I ain't cleaning nothing. What do I bring to the table? I'm the table. Some women say that. You don't get mad at me if that offends you, male or female. It's out there on the internet to see. So you got some women, I guess they're supposed to just exist, and you're supposed to do everything yourself. And they got some men who want that trophy wife. My first wife was a kind of a trophy wife. All the red flags were there. That sucker was gorgeous, so I held on to it, and I'm paying for it to this day. But okay. So you have to determine whether or not that could benefit you. Now, my father passed when I was 16, and listen to this next statement because it takes a preface for you to understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. My father passed when I was 16. To this day, he left a biological legacy in this world for my mother in me. So while she's not wealthy yet, I'm doing things to make sure she's okay no matter what. And it just so happens that I happen to be a really close spinoff of my dad's image. So her biological children benefit her. If my dad were still alive, I would benefit him. There was a point in time in history where society honored men. Not just men, but men especially, if they went out of their way to help in a situation. So men who did work in the community, coaches, teachers, military, police, firefighters, and then a stepfather was someone who was held to high esteem as well. I do suppose there possibly could be some people in this world who have old-fashioned values, and maybe there's a chance that if you took on a child that wasn't yours, I'm not saying a child owes an adult anything, but, like for me, regardless of what happens with my mom, I do not plan on putting her in a nursing home. It'd have to be something just so severe where I literally just don't have the tools, knowledge, and expertise to make that situation work, and the nursing home is a better situation. And I don't think that's going to happen. So maybe by taking on a child that's not biologically yours, maybe somehow that child could be of some type of benefit to you. I can name one situation. Nah, I tell you what, the next video, I'm going to talk about women who I've dated. I think there've been like 3 who have children. There's 3 I can think of off the top of my head. who I actually tried to make a situation work with who had children. So let's sum up all the possible pros before I end this video. One, you could consider yourself, by being a stepfather, possibly doing a good service. Not service, let's not say that, but doing something that's morally right. Two, a woman who maybe wouldn't have given you a chance before because of her beauty and status in life may say, okay, now let me look for this nice guy or this fellow who's got husband qualities over everything else. And that doesn't mean gentlemen who are what society considers handsome don't have those qualities either. But okay, now maybe you could have a really, really beautiful woman, trophy wife status type woman, I don't know, wanting to be interested in you for the right reasons. And then you could be working as a team, and you can find yourself a helpmeet, possibly a woman who has some skills and abilities that will aid you in your mission as a man. And the last possible pro was that maybe by you being in this child's life, the child appreciates you and somehow it improves your life. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about situations that I have tried to make work as a person who has dated a couple of women who had children. I'll tell you how that worked out, what my logic was, and you can take it for what it's worth. And as always, never lose the will to win and never lose the will to survive.